Let's talk a little bit. A few questions about why some businesses left and why other businesses didn't leave. And currently, I'm not gonna talk about anyone I really work for because I'm kind of in between things right now. So I'm gonna just speak in general about why that came out on the internet. And it's the truth. You can't make a living by working 12 months out of the year. The way that it's constructed is that you work 6 to 7 months, then you got someone that comes in, does 6 to 7 months, then you'll do 5 to 6 months, maybe even 7 months. And what happens is it constantly keeps a flow of cash in people's pockets and whatnot. With that being said, you may not have the best life, but you'll have a life and whatnot. As far as workman's compensation, Williamsport Hospital and all of them been working on trying to get workman's compensation for medical. It's not a medical benefit. It hasn't flipped over yet. And what's happening is Williamsport Hospital, Geisinger Medical Center, Philadelphia, and other places, not specified particularly, but you're being charged with murder. And the reason I say that is if you're a union hospital or you're unionized through the hospital or the union, you will be subjected to the accusation of murder. Now, prospectively, you don't get the accusation of murder until you've actually killed someone laying down on the bed, as some would say. But in all honesty, people cannot take infliction of cuts and wounds and stuff like that. Investigating the red salt flats, with that, it just comes up to being blood on sand, useless rock, useless clay. So if someone tries to sell you red clay, you say no. So with that and everything else, people would like say how's it get there and whatnot. To be honest with you, when you do a surgery on someone, 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say that surgery will kill a person, but the body does not heal as congruently as I like to write it in books. People aren't books and whatnot, and it's most of the time if you happen to have something or an infection, you can get rid of it through the injection that is required, which is an anti-inflammation shot. So, and it'll go away, and you'll be like, oh, I'm good. If you go to the period that it breaks the skin and it weeps all over, it's going to take time for it to heal. The problem of it is the abuses and whatnot with the insurance companies and so forth. We all understand the insurance companies. Some of them don't really care about how much a person claims on their insurance. Yes, we do. As far as the ones funding insurance, you don't just sit there and say claim on this, claim on that, claim on this, claim on that. Your pay rate will actually exceed a certain limit and whatnot. As far as the question was asked, is an insurance insurance a plus or a minus? The answer was a minus. For as much money as I paid the insurance companies to insure a vehicle, I could have had a brand new vehicle, 2, with all the insurance claims that are out there, which totals $13,000 with the insurance claims in a 40-year period, which is relatively cheap. Going through Car Care Europe, which is totally different. I would have had about $28,000 in my pocket. as far as the insurance and health in this country, it was technically under what they call siege by the very people trying to get no insurance back into a policy rate. Welfare is no longer funding any insurance, any accident, or anything that you may hurt yourself. If you get in a car accident, you can't afford $80,000. Well, that's just too bad. You're going to pay $80,000 worth of damage done to yourself by your accident in a vehicle or at home or in a residential setting, or not setting, but on the property, not your property. As far as the tax problem, it was looked into that pretty much certain people are paying in taxes, and a lot of people are turning around in government, from the Senate to the representatives to the Congress, and handing you your full and tax dollars back at the end of the year, minus anything you would have got on income tax. Looking at a few people's IRS claims and telling the IRS you screwed up and whatnot, which was the same problem they had back in 1980. Was the people agreed to just pay in tax, no health care insurance, or not health care insurance, but no health benefit, because they're so far behind in tax payments. And the one that does matter is the death tax. So they were like, oh, how much can I use my old SSI and what I have left? And a lot of them had zero left because of whom they were with. Not legally, but they're trying to make marriage legal. Marriage is not legal. Marriage by paper is a form of what they like to refer to as slavery. So with that said, and the priests enslaving themselves to an altar, let alone a belief, I mean, they're not rulers, they're not dictators or anything like that. So with that being said, a lot of businesses are leaving. A lot of insurance companies are not funding stuff, because the word insurance, by legal definition, is an illegal term. You cannot use insurance as a legal term. This has been decided way before the people here. And a lot of people say, oh, we're not repeats. Yes, you are. So when you turn around and say, I got the 200, 300 years worth of, goods, and I got all this stuff stacked up and buried out in the woods, and then turn around and with the new kids coming on, just say, go screw yourself. That's what's happening. Beyond the Orphanage, as some might have saw on YouTube read that I have, it's called Beyond. The title of it is Being Beyond an Orphan, or the Orphanage, and it talks about how, which you won't see on regular YouTube, because YouTube, you gotta have YouTube Red membership to see this video, because they want to hold it back against people. But anyway, Beyond an Orphan or Orphanage, the video that I made was that people don't want to pay any more than what they have to for their self. That's a singularity in an individual, and they think, well, if I can do this or I can do that, I can put it off on someone else. As simple as trying to run a bill up on someone. The Bill of Rights is an illegal Bill of Rights. The reason I say this legally is because of the word bill. As soon as you name someone Bill, B-I-L, you cannot use it as a name first, and you definitely will cancel out the Bill of Rights after a period of 40 years. And that period of 40 years is well up by 400 and whatnot. As far as policy and politics being done by war, no government is allowed to be established after a war for over 100 years. 100 years of which the government, if it had a government, and this country didn't have a government, cannot establish anything of a government for itself, because it got its butt kicked and it lost the war. So, That means the British government can only do one thing. But let me put it this way to a lot of people pointing fingers. A lot of you are British. A lot of you are Spanish. A lot of you are French. And when you get into the Indians, you're just a bunch of old farts that didn't die correctly and now kicking yourself in the rear end because you're falling apart. Seeing five of yourself. So get that right. The other part of it is the Zeus curse, as they refer to it. The Zeus curse is a white guy that you end up doing something with and you fall apart. It's bad. They call him death. As far as the black version of Zeus, got nothing to worry about. I mean, he's a big wuss. So, and whatnot. Even though he doesn't think he's a wuss. But part of it is Cayman, which I own and represent, plus the other governments on the other side of the ocean, and I handle and whatnot. They're not funding. We're not funding five Phil Tuckers. So I mean, in a nice way of saying, you screwed yourself up. You didn't listen to the warnings and whatnot. So tough. You know, there are ways to put yourself back together with the Jesus curse. Not technically, Jesus has to put you back together with the curse and whatnot. But if you try to remove the curse, that's when normally you become more than one of yourself. And how that person does this is pressure on their head or a headache. Mainly a bunch of pressure up above the head. So if you mess yourself up legally, you do not qualify for disability nor any type of insurance. Everything on the other side of the ocean does not not worded in the sense of being illegal as this country is, which ain't really a country. It's just a bunch of mountains, farm fields, which particularly, and I can legally say this whether you're in Europe, to Russia, to China, to Africa, to South America, to North America, to Canada, you guys caused your own problem. That's your poop. I want to say shit because it's what it is. It's shit. It's your shit out there laying now that hopefully is dirt. Your piss and stuff as far as the dirt. Your throw up. And so, you gotta constructively let either the person you said to take care of it do it, or get the hell out of the way, because you're not legally qualified, and I'm talking to the population, to handle a lot of that stuff. And a lot of people are like, what's so bad about handling poop and handling piss and handling puke? Alright, let me show you something. I got this guy talking and talking and talking. I was explaining the hazards and stuff of poop, pee, and puke. And next thing, I was like, okay, well, I want you to do this as a time trial. This is going to be a temporary test and whatnot. I want you to handle all three of these items in a row and get rid of them. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. I explained to you how to do that. He was like, I still don't know how to do that. Okay, well, I'm going to explain real quick how to do that. And I explained it to him. And immediately what the guy did is the gloves were sitting there, but I didn't tell him to put rubber gloves on. And immediately he grabbed the vial of poop and whatnot. And even though he doesn't know if I touched that beaker with gloves on that had poop on it or not. Now, in the simulation of it, I take oatmeal and I brown it with some food coloring and I taint it so there's like marks, a little residue of what looks like poop, but it's oatmeal. So, and whatnot. So the guy grabbed it and I was like, you failed. And he was like, okay, how did I fail? I was like, you touched poop. And that quickly is how fast I would have probably, mainly if I taught him, he would know what to do, because you technically sit in a hazmat suit for the 8 to 12 hours a day. But that's the point I was making. People rush too fast, use the Ford concept of mass assembly uh, and whatnot to do the job. You need to slow your job down. And you'll find out when you slow your job down that no one needs, let's talk about toilet paper. No one needs 500 million rolls of toilet paper that are double ply sitting on the shelf because they only last 4 months. And if they ain't wet or damp by then um, and if they ain't sold, then you got a problem. And then that gets sold to the newspaper company. And what they'll do is they'll put a thin sheet of brand new on top and bottom, put toilet paper in the middle. That way, when it actually gets wet, it actually will absorb water, but at the same time, it'll absorb ink better too. So they stopped using that method, and now they got ink all over their fingers. That's how stupid some people are. Anyway, I'm gonna stop this video.